Oh my god, your poor dad.
All right, welcome back to Your Poor Dad. You can't choose your sisters, but you can choose your podcast. So thank you for joining us and being the fourth Brant sister.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
Are we interrupting you, Paige?
Nope,
Yeah,
I'm
Paige,
putting it away.
Perfect. All right, ladies, what do we have going on this week? I practiced that line before.
Okay, nailed it. You nailed it.
How did I do?
Great.
You did?
I did take an acting class in 5th grade.
You
It
want to know
shows.
what I remember from your acting class?
It was 2 girls in a mirror.
Yeah, and you and that girl would like put your hand
We'd
up.
have to put our hand up to the mirror.
I'll be honest, I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
It was pretty fucking cool. And also, I really thought I was going to be a star. And it turns out I am a star, but just
Right.
in a different way.
Yeah. You've been destined for stardom
I have
forever.
a sense of star quality to me.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
I'm like, right?
Couldn't agree more.
Somebody on my TikTok, so I did this TikTok that pissed everyone off because somebody was like, "Are you from New York City? Like, we're the same person." And I was like, "Oh, I'm from the New York City of Texas, Austin," which is clearly a joke because like nothing about Austin is like New York City. And then of course everyone in the comments is like, literally nobody says that. Like Austin is the LA, not the. It's like
You're just, like, starting riots.
Yeah, I was just starting drama to get some views, and then somebody was like, "Honestly, I can never tell if you're serious or not." And I just commented back, "I took an acting class in 5th grade."
That's actually really funny. Good job.
Thank you. I was on a roll, and then someone was like, "Actually, Austin isn't even as big as Baltimore." And I was like, "It's not the size that matters, honey. Ask your girlfriend."
Wow.
Nice. Good one.
I was on a roll yesterday. I was just like firing off like comments, and they were like, "Austin blows," and I was like, "So does your mom."
Wow.
Classic.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So
I
anyway,
think
nailed it.
I think Tiger says that one.
yeah. Austin blows.
He says, "Look just like me."
Just like me, I blow my brother. Anyways, whoa. Okay.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Whoa.
So what do we have going on this week, ladies?
Well, so for me, not too much. I will say I did watch the Adam Sandler movie Hustle, and
go?
I honestly was obsessed. I watched it last night with Bailey,
And it was really good.
I loved it.
Okay. Okay. I do want to see it, but I don't trust any movie recommendations from you guys because you guys
Okay,
have
fair.
questionable taste.
That
Very
is fair.
But
Here,
Paige was on the edge of her seat the whole time.
Is it a thriller?
No.
She cried.
okay. Thank you for telling everybody that.
You're welcome.
It's okay to cry.
I really liked what I didn't know about myself is that I'm such a basketball fan. But they just have a lot of people because the main guy that it's about, he's like a real basketball player. He plays for Utah Jazz.
And Adam Sandler's a very good basketball player. Did you know that?
Well, and so he no, didn't know that. But like so Adam Sandler in the movie used to play basketball, but now he's like a scout. But anyways, it's like what I liked about it is I think they filmed over like COVID. So this basketball player got offered to do this acting job. He's like, no. And his sister's like, why not? What else are you doing? He's like, you know what? You're right. So he just takes this role. So that's kind of cool. And then there was just so many other like big basketball like names in the movie. I think that's really freaking cool. So I loved it. Highly recommend.
Nice.
Also,
Shout out to Adam Sandler. # not sponsored.
not sponsored. We wish. Adam Sandler, you could sponsor this.
Yeah.
Also, he's a girl dad, right?
Yeah.
His daughter just had her bat mitzvah.
Nice.
Mazel tov.
Shalom.
Another thing for me this week was Bailey and I actually learned all of the presidents in order. So now you give us a number. We're like, yeah,
Number 7.
number 7. Oh, gosh, you're putting me on the spot. It's Andrew Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
That's enough of that.
my last thing that I have to say.
Oh, God.
Beep, 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 beep.
This is a Bears update. Okay, guys. Offensive guard Dakota Dozier was carted off the field after suffering an apparent leg injury at the Bears minicamp this week.
Uh-oh.
Who's Dakota? Like, is he essential to the lineup?
So, you know what? Thanks for asking, Jade. It was like an off-season trade draft pick or something. I don't know how that works, but we like picked him up not in the draft. It was like off-season, whatever.
Okay, got it.
He used to play for the Vikings, but he was in the running to be a starting offensive line, right? Anyways, nothing's been determined yet, but this could be bad news bears as they rework their O-line, you know? So, help us get our poor dad to Soldier Field to see how it all plays out.
I have no notes.
Beautiful.
That was executed beautifully.
Thank you. And honestly,
She's the only one that's doing anything to get our poor dad to Soldier Field.
that's all my freaking updates. I mean, that's all what's going on with me this week.
Okay. We're trying not to call it updates anymore because it just sounds so clinical. Bailey, what's going on with you this week?
What's going on with you?
Thank you for asking, guys. Let me think about what's been going on with me. Not that much, but something that I'm excited about is my boyfriend moved out of his apartment, so he's one step closer to getting to the Lone Star State.
Nice.
Oh, that's very exciting.
It's very exciting.
Are you nervous?
I'm actually very nervous, because I don't think his like northeastern self is gonna fare well in this heat.
Honey, it's hot as hell.
It's hotter than the devil's
And you know
dick.
what? That's why God made swimming pools and lakes.
That's why God made air conditioning.
I love that God made air conditioning.
Me too. I thank God every day for it.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I am excited for Sticks to come to Texas, and I think we're gonna have a freaking blast.
I know
We're
he's gonna
have
love
a blast. I do think he's gonna love it a lot when he
I
gets
think he
here.
will too.
I mean, Austin's a hard city to not love.
Yeah,
But when you're
that's
coming
just
from the
me.
City of Lights,
Well, when you're coming from the city of lights, Will,
it's gonna be pretty dark over here. You know what I mean? We ain't got no lights.
we just got that one star.
we got that one lone star.
star.
That was good,
Oh,
Bailey.
that's funny. Good job, Bailey.
Jade, what's going on with you?
Well, I saw Top Gun Maverick this week.
Hot.
It was so hot. Like, the sex appeal in that movie is just out of this world. Like, Miles Teller. Wait. Barf.
Wait.
Go on.
What?
No. Go on.
First of all, I haven't seen it, but I feel the sex appeal.
Can you feel it radiating out
I
of
can
me?
just see that you're gonna slide off that chair.
Oh my God.
That sex appeal.
The sex
Well, I mean, she is a sex girl, so
I am a sex
A
girl.
sex girl. Okay.
Yeah, Miles Teller lives up to the hype. I had a few notes on the movie, but you know what? I'm just going to look at it as a fan because, love the first movie a lot. And it was a great sequel. 10 out of 10 for me.
Would Goose be proud?
I think Goose would be proud. And Miles Teller is a spectacular rooster.
Specimen of a
Well,
man.
he's like the best person you could have chosen to be Goose's son.
Yeah.
And Meg Ryan's son.
Yeah.
And I loved how they like interwove the past movie, like Tom Cruise's love interest is named Penny. And then looking back to the old movie, Tom Cruise was talking to Meg Ryan about this girl in the scene where they're singing Great Balls of Fire. And she's like, I heard you were hanging out with Penny, or she says something like that. And that's Penny is now in the movie. So
Wait,
it's like,
I like that a lot.
yeah, it was really cute. And we have some updates in the city of Austin with our friends Zate.
Oh, yeah.
So Zate is a dating app, and it's, we like to say it's a different kind of dating app because it's not who you do, it's what you do. So another exciting thing that's going to be launching soon with the Zate, so you guys should download the app now, is that they're going to be starting a platonic version of Zate. And so they're going to be doing, you can meet up with girlfriends, which I really love because I'm still trying to meet friends in this city.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be cool to say, like, oh, do you want to hit up a workout class together? Do you want to go get coffee? Because, like, I don't only want party friends. Like, that's fun, but
Need your everyday friends.
I need some everyday girls.
I hear you.
And then also another exciting thing Zate is going to be doing is giveaways to concerts.
That's what I'm excited for.
And honey, I don't know if y'all know this, but Austin is the live music capital.
Oh, honey, I know it. And
I know you know. I know you know.
And I am ready for it.
But I don't know if they know. So we got to tell them.
Tell them, honey. Tell them.
And so Zate will be doing giveaways to different concerts and different events around the city. So I would download the app now so you can be the first to know. And I'm really excited because I'm trying to see some live music this summer.
Me
I'm
too.
so excited for that because I want to see the live music. I want to do all of it.
Yeah.
And I was so jealous when we found out about Zate like in December at home, and I was like, well, I already have this like boyfriend now. Like, what am I gonna do? So I was like, oh great, he's moving here. Like, we'll just steal all the date ideas. Don't even have to steal him now. I can just meet some fun gals on there.
Yeah. I know. So I'm really excited. I think Zate is awesome and you guys should download it.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we're all caught up with each other,
So good. Actually, this is catching up because I like haven't really talked to you guys.
I know we Bailey and I live together, but Jade never talks to us, so we really only get together once a week to record. So we did, just catch up. But
Now that we're all caught up in the present, let's
go back here for
to the
visit our past.
Doodaloo, 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 doodaloo. Okay.
So the topic of the day is divorce.
Capital
Specifically, Jade's divorce.
And I'm the only one here who has a divorce, so it's about my divorce.
You know, you went through the big D, and we don't mean Dallas.
As I like to call it, it's the D card. I got my
Okay.
first D card, and I would like to preface this with I am on very good terms with my ex-husband. He is a gem now. And I did text him before this, and I said, hey, just a heads up. I have a podcast. I don't know if you know this.
He probably knows.
He knows. He knows. And I was like, listen, we're going to be talking about the divorce. Is there anything that's off limits? I'm going to be talking about my experience with it. I won't be speaking for you. And he was very gracious. And he said, I'm very happy for your podcast.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Mark.
Thanks, Mark. We're going to call him Mark.
Mark.
Marque. And he just asked me not to get into the nitty gritty, which I wasn't planning on doing anyways. And I think we have plenty to talk about without getting into the nitty gritty. But I
For
will
sure.
say my nitty gritty side of it that I did.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay, so where do you want to start with this story, Jade?
I think we should start at the tippy top of the mountain of the empire, the Mark Empire. Our relationship, we started dating, I would say 2011, 2012. And then as all couples do, it was really fun because we were both, he was my first serious relationship for sure. And then we had this big group of friends. We were all couples. We were all living in Newport Beach. We vacationed together. We all got engaged together. We all we all had this stages of life together. So it kind of felt like we were all I don't know now if we weren't in that group of friends, what our relationship would have looked like. Because it almost felt like, well, all of our friends are getting engaged, or all of our friends are moving in together. We're moving in together. All of our friends are getting engaged. We're getting engaged.
It's like mass hysteria.
Right.
It's like you're just feeding into each other.
Yeah, for sure. So that
I don't know.
happened.
I feel like you guys still would have had a very similar path.
Yeah.
Because typically, at least in your relationship, I believe, I think just because of him being a Midwest boy, I think that's kind of where he pictured his life. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think your friend group helped that happen, but I think that would have kind of been your path regardless.
Yeah. And I was very ready to get married for some reason, which to me now that I don't relate to that person at all. I was pressuring him to get married. I was like, when are we getting engaged?
Well, I also think that's a society thing. I thought I was going to be married and have 2 kids by the time I was 28. And I'm 30 and I'm not married nor have 1 child, let alone 2. Well, in case you count the Frenchies. But I think it's when you're younger, you think of 30 as being so old, and it's oh, well, I'm going to be married and have children by then.
Yeah.
But it's then you get in your 20s, you're whoa, wait.
I thought
whoa.
the same thing. I got my IUD when I was 23, and I was like, by the time I'm 28, I'm going to be super ready to have a baby. And it's this guy's about to
No.
expire. I'm going to have to re-up.
I remember there's this in the early seasons of the Kardashians, Kourtney has a pregnancy scare, and I remember her being 28 in the episode. And I was like, oh my God, like 28 is so old. Like, why don't you just have the baby? What's the point of it? Because she was like, I don't know if I would have the baby or not. This wasn't when she actually got pregnant, and I remember specifically thinking how old 28 was.
Yeah, it like felt really old.
Yeah.
But it's
It's
not, because
so
neither
young.
is 30 and neither is 33.
And 33 feels very young. I feel like not like super young like I did in my 20s, like naive young, but I feel like young. I'm very grateful for my youth.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the D card. So we got engaged.
Well, okay, go on.
Okay, wait, what
Well, I just want to make sure we get through the wedding too.
Yeah.
So engaged.
we got engaged. We called the family, FaceTime them. Oh my God, I'm engaged. Were you guys shocked?
I cried.
You
I cried
did?
too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
I was really happy for you.
Yeah, it was so exciting. Like getting engaged and like that whole process of like planning the wedding and that whole time is like such a special time still. Like people have asked me, oh, do you regret like all of that? I'm like, no, it was so much fun. I had the best time. It was stressful planning a wedding, but like it's all these like really awesome moments that you get to have. And it's mainly like with your girlfriends. Like all my bridesmaids I'm still like very, very close with. So like just doing all those activities, like planning the bachelorette party, or you guys planned it, but like the bridal shower, like all of that stuff was just so much fun and I cherish it. And then we got married.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I will say your wedding was so much fun.
Yeah.
Like it was so much fun. I had the time of my life.
Yeah, you literally puked and rallied.
I threw up in my hands and just kind of swiped it on the ground.
Wiped it on your dress and you went back.
I swiped it on the ground and I said, uh-oh, and I went to the bathroom and washed my hands, and then I went back to and then I probably got a beer to, rinse out my mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I went back to the dance floor to turn up.
And one thing we did, and people are like, how do you have a fun wedding like that? And I think so many brides prioritize like the aesthetic of the wedding. And our wedding was beautiful. Like it was on a farm in Santa Barbara on the ocean. The reception was in a greenhouse. Like we lucked out with our venue so hard because it was a brand new venue. So it was cheap at the time. And now I'm sure it's not cheap. But, we prioritized like our fun instead of like the pictures and the flowers and all of that. So I was like, I do not want to be taking pictures after the ceremony. Like you have like 30 minutes. So you better get every picture you need for me. Yeah. From me. Because mommy needs a glass of champagne.
Yeah.
But it was like, I mean, literally it was just such a good wedding. Like me and dad came down the hill in a classic Woody car. Mm-hmm. And then we walked down the aisle to Dream a Little Dream of Me by Mamas and Papas. So it was like very like 70s, like hippie. And it just like, we came out at the right moment. It was just like, could not have been like a more magical experience for everyone.
I'm pretty sure, weren't you bawling like a baby?
Yeah.
I'm pretty, because like
I cried a lot.
I was crying, but then like I hear, because Bailey's 7 inches taller than me. And so I'm like in front of, it's like Jade and I'm like the first one, and then Bailey's right behind me. And I'm like
crying tears on top of your head.
I can like hear Bailey. And I'm like, oh my, and I finally turn around and like she's like not well. And I'm like, I thought I was, because I feel like I'm the more like outwardly like emotional one, like especially with like crying. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like and then Bailey's like, I'm like, oh my God.
I on purposely gave myself all the sad parts of the speech because we wrote the speech together.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, you're gonna be crying, so I'm gonna say all the sad stuff. And Paige turned around and she was like, you good? Like, are you gonna be able to do this?
Yeah, you guys killed it on the speech. And also another thing we did is that our family rented a house and we had a welcome party that was like super casual, but it was so much fun. It was just
like after the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah, it was after the rehearsal dinner. It was just like beer and wine and like snacks, but like everyone from the wedding or who came in town for the wedding was invited, and it was super fun to like actually get to hang out with people, because like I know a lot of brides are like, I'm not gonna drink the night before and I'm gonna do this, and I was just like, this is my party. Like, I want to party. If I wake up hungover, there's always Adderall, and
What I was honestly the most scared of for your wedding was the day of, or was it the day before when we got the spray tans?
Oh yeah.
I was like, I think that was my first spray tan.
It was also
And
my
so
first
I was
spray
like,
tan.
oh my God, am I going to be orange in all these pictures? And if
That
that's
was your first time in the big city getting a spray
if that was the worst, or if that was my biggest fear, then like, it was a good wedding.
yeah,
you know?
it was just so chill.
That was my first spray tan, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be all the way naked, so I kept my underwear on. Big mistake. It was like my underwear was like crooked in the back, so you could like see my like crooked thong line going around.
Your underwear would be crooked.
It was so crooked, and I was like, why didn't she tell me? Or why didn't
Yeah.
she tell me it was normal to take my undies off?
I don't think I took my undies off.
I don't think I took mine off either, but mine were definitely straight.
Yeah, I
There's
just had a
pictures of me
normal.
in my bathing suit laying by the pool before your wedding, and you can see the line.
The snaky little
Yeah, like went halfway up my back somehow.
Yeah. So the wedding was great. Everything was great. And then you kind of are like on this like little bitty high after your wedding where you're just like, oh, we're married. We're married. I remember I came out to Austin and he couldn't come with me. And we like went to the UT game and I just felt like I'm a bride, like I'm a wife. And then that all came crashing down very, very, very shortly after.
Yeah, that was pretty quick.
It was quick. My moment of bliss was 2 months. And then I remember coming home one day and I found out that there was a little addiction problem going on in my house. So that's where things took a quick turn. And the way I like to handle things is by internalizing it and dealing with it on my own. So I didn't tell anybody what was going on for a year.
Yeah.
And it was bad. Like every week it was something new. And I think anyone who's ever dealt with an addict, you just know, like it is a very tumultuous thing and it's a very selfish disease, and it's hard not to it's hard to remember that it's not the person's personality. It's something else that's taking over them. And that was very hard for me. But luckily what we did is like we got help right away and we were in a lot of therapy. But still, therapy is like, it's not going to cure it.
Yeah. Yeah. Therapy can only do so much. Like therapy gives you the tools, but like you have to do the healing.
And basically therapy for me just like validated my feelings and kept me strong. Like he really needed to do a lot of work on himself. And of course I needed to do work on how I dealt with it. But yeah. There's one thing.
Well, I also think that like for you, because my journey in all of this, or like my point of view, I guess, was like I didn't know for so long. And I can only imagine like putting myself in that situation, like you're almost like, that's not what this is. Like,
Yeah.
no, that's not what this is.
Oh,
Like, that's not what this is.
I remember he told me, and we were going to, it was the day of the Big Ten bar crawl in Hermosa, and we went every single year. And I was like, oh, okay, like we've got this. And then we just went and binge drank that. And so we still were like very naive to addiction at that point. And there were so many different ways we tried to deal with addiction during that whole time. And I didn't know what to do. So I didn't want to get anyone involved. And I don't know if some people, I think they like cling to other people. And I was like, we need to cling to each other at this time and deal with it. Because I didn't want to also tell everyone and have them making their own like opinions about us, and then also I didn't want their opinions of what I should do either, because I needed to deal with like the professionals that we were dealing with. And a lot of my friends we were all so naive to addiction and drug use, alcohol use. I mean, like we don't know anything about like that kind of stuff.
It's like, yeah, okay, take a step back. And it's like, some people can't just take a step back.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's kind of what our thing was like, oh, just don't do this. Oh, just don't do that. And it's like not that easy at all.
Well, I also think like hindsight being 2020, it kind of also boils down to like that similar thing we've discussed. Like if there's something that you're hiding from like your close circle, there was a reason you weren't telling us, right?
Yeah.
It's like because you knew that there was some kind of, even though you didn't know how to handle it, there was some kind of like negative like connotation with this addiction. Like, oh, I don't want to tell anyone because like we have this, like we're gonna get this like fixed real quick. So like I don't want to tell anyone. But going back to like, if you're keeping secrets, like if you're not telling something, like it's probably that's when you definitely probably should be telling somebody.
Exactly. And it all came to a head, as it always does. So I remember something had happened, and it must have been bad because like it made me like, for me to like crack and have to call one of my friends and tell them. I just remember something had happened and I was like, I need to go for a walk. This is so bad. And I like got my phone out. I was on the walk and I just was like, I called Lisa and I was like, Lisa? And I just started like, like doing
Like
that.
Bailey
crying.
at your wedding?
Yeah. And I was like, it's bad. And she was like, holy shit. And Lisa's like, like we're kind of similar with like our emotions. And I feel like she was probably like, oh God. But she was so supportive. She was like my person I went to, like, because she was my closest person to me and physically the closest person to me. So like I would always go up to LA and stay with her and stay on her couch. And then luckily her and her husband are like some of my closest friends. So that was my like safe space. And we'd always have so much fun together. But then I had Shayna and Rhiannon, they came out at the same time. And that was like the first kind of like precursor to like, oh, things aren't right with Jade.
Yeah.
And so they all went out. And then I remember telling, because I told Lisa, so I was like, I need to tell Shayna, I need to tell my mom and sisters, and then Dad. And Dad was like a hard one to tell about the addiction because it was just like, you know, it's like we're his girls. And
Yeah.
so that was hard. But yeah, we had like, it was because he went to rehab. That's why the girls came out. And then we like had like a little party while he was in rehab. And then I had to also hide from work that he was in rehab. And I remember my coworkers being like, you haven't talked about Mark in a while. What's going on? And I'm like, I haven't? That's weird.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Mark and I are great.
And also like, what the fuck is it to you?
Yeah. Also,
Who's
I'm like
noticing that
like,
you haven't
mind your
spoke about your
fucking-
husband in a while.
Yeah, and
I'm
mind
like
your
an old
business.
wife now. Like,
Yeah.
we're just living this boring married life.
Yeah, that was the dark days because I remember just being like so overwhelmed. And I don't even like know that I'm overwhelmed in the moment. I internalized it. Like I had acne for the first time in my life. I've never had acne. I had like all these like sores on my face and it was literally like my body was just like spoiling from the
Yeah, you were
inside out.
necrotizing.
Ew, what's
Whoa, what
necrotizing?
Dying.
Like dying?
Yeah.
Necrophilia?
Yeah.
That's the only word I know with necro
Yeah.
what?
Necrotizing.
Necrotizing. Mark was making me necrotize.
Bailey's the smart sister.
So, yeah, after he went to rehab, then the next year, I started like reaching out to people that I knew were like also like spouses of addicts. And like I went to an Al-Anon meeting, and the more and more I talked to these people, I was like, I am in over my head, honey.
I cannot do this on my own.
I was like, damn, this is serious. Like I remember sitting like this ain't
no shit, Sherlock. I'm glad you finally had that realization.
Well, I remember sitting in an Al-Anon meeting and I was like, I do not want to go. And I used to go to AA meetings with him as well. And they were so intense. Like, I was just like, where am I? How the fuck did I get here? And it's like, the meetings are so amazing for these people. But like, I was just like, still processing this world I was in.
Yeah.
Like, do I want to be in this world? Like, I didn't choose to be in this world. Like this, it was just a
It chose
lot
you.
of, it fucking chose me. And I remember sitting in the Al-Anon meeting, and then there was a mom and a daughter, and they were talking about the girl's husband and then her daughter's dad. And then you share, it's just like an AA meeting, but you're sharing about your experience with the addict. And just listening to the daughter like talk, I was like, no, this ain't for me.
It's tough. It's a lot.
Yeah. So then, long story short, that next year, so we did 1 year not telling everyone, and then the next year was like, oh, I'm sober, doing the whole like, addict thing. And then everything kind of came to a head, and I was like, done. Completely done. I called mom and I was like, I am done. I called his mom and I said, I'm done. And I was like, I'm out. I cannot be married anymore. There was definitely that night I realized like I am actually not good for this person. Like
Yeah.
I am the kind of person that like this has been going on for a year and I hadn't seen it, and I'm almost enabling it. I mean, I was.
Well, because the thing is like you said earlier, like it is like such a selfish disease that there's truly like only so much that you could even do to support him.
Yeah.
It really all boils down to like him, and the reasons for the addiction like are not about you,
Yeah.
It's like they're so past you that like it's not in your control.
Right.
So that it at a certain point like you do have to decide like, can I handle this person's journey or not,
Yeah.
and that's tough. That's
Yeah.
really tough. That I remember really thinking about you guys a lot and like really feeling for you, because that is such a tough decision to make about somebody that you truly loved, right? It was just like a circumstance that you never could have predicted.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Also hard for us because they were like so far away, like geographically. Like
Yeah.
we just had to like trust you that, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
What would we know?
Because I was also saying I was fine when I was not fine.
Yeah.
So then we did not believe you, and you were like on the upswing.
Yeah. But I felt like, so that's another thing. So it was like I made my decision, and I think in my situation, it had been like such a slow burn. Like I was just like a shell. Our relationship was a shell of itself by the end of it. So for me, it was easier to like move forward because
you were like seeing the light and like running towards the light.
yeah, like because my relationship was so dark, and it was like every time I got out, like we had something to do. Like I remember Lisa's wedding was like one of the last weekends we had together, and it was like I remember looking back on those pictures and crying, and I was like, I have no pictures with him, and like that's so sad. And I remember like feeling so guilty that I didn't spend any time with him. But looking back now, I feel happy because I was like with my friends the entire night. It's one of my best friends. I mean, I set her and her husband up, so it was like a very fun night for me. Like I had friends on both sides of the
Well, and I
wedding.
remember you talking to me about that wedding, and specifically like having that struggle, and like us talking about if it was someone else's wedding, like maybe more of like an acquaintance or a less someone you don't know as well,
Yeah.
then like okay, maybe try to like find the time. But it's like because this is a best friend
Yeah.
that has been in your life for so long, is going to be in your life for so
And
long
her
afterward.
husband.
If both of them,
Yeah.
like you do what you need to do like for that wedding that day, and like he can sit there and like cry for all you care. Like
Yeah.
that's how I was like, you've done so much.
I was like, can I just be selfish at this wedding? Like if you need to leave, but like I'm not leaving. Like this is just a different wedding. And also, speaking of weddings, I was in my other best friend Shayna's wedding right after I found out. Like it was only like a couple weeks after I found out that he was, an addict. and I was the maid of honor in her wedding. And I remember I just looked like looking back, I just looked like shit because I was just so not concerned with anything else like in my life at that point besides just like surviving it. And I was like, oh my God, I would never let them do my hair like that. I would never let them do my makeup like that. I would have like cared more, but I was just like so in survival mode at that point. And I was just like, yes, this is great. Everything's great.
The lights are on.
Yay.
Yeah, that's wild.
I was also in Rhiannon's wedding like 2 months. My 3 best friends got married very close together. And then I got divorced, and then they all 3 got pregnant, like right when I got divorced too. And I remember mom being like, oh, is it hard for you to have like all your friends being pregnant? I'm like, bitch, I am single and I am mingling. No,
I'm working on making a baby myself, Mom.
honey, I'm trying to
I'm
not
getting
have
lots of practice in.
I was like, I'm trying not to have a baby right now.
Well, and I think that like I do wonder like valid for mom to ask that because I think if I was in your situation, that would be hard for me.
Yeah,
because like
it was not hard for me.
I want to get married and like have a baby, and I think that I'm fine with like where I'm at like right now because all of my friends have already gotten married and they're on their almost all of them have already had a kid or they're like popping out their second one. Like
yeah.
But like I think if I was like you at the same time that everyone's going through this, like we're all getting married and then they all get pregnant, I think I would have a hard time with that. So
Yeah.
I think it's nice that she asked.
Well, also Lisa had 2 babies, so it's
But
almost
at the
like
same
I
time.
could have one, and then she could have one, and then the other 2 had theirs.
You're right.
So we could all hold a baby if
So
I wanted to hold the baby, which I don't.
Lisa's just a really good sharer.
I mean, she was really there for me.
She's
She had
like
a baby.
She's
for
keeping
me.
up the numbers for the group, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think like so. Let's talk about me being the first one being divorced. I remember like going to one of my first events, or not events, but like I guess, yeah, like an event. It was like a baby's fucking birthday party.
Ooh,
and
big
an
event.
It was a 5-star gala.
The event of the year.
Yeah. And it was like one of my first times being with like me and Mark's group of friends, but it just being me. And like, you know, everyone's just like so awkward around you. Like, and I'm like, you guys, this is in the grand scheme of things, like this is actually horrible because somebody is like struggling, but it's a divorce. It's not like don't worry about me.
Yeah.
Worry about him. I'm fine. But I remember one of my friends who is like the only other person I knew that had ever gotten a divorce, and hers was really, really young. She was like, yeah, divorce is like whatever. She's like, look around this room. Half of these people are going to get divorced. And I was like, you're right. I just got mine out of the way first.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's just like an ugly breakup with the government involved. Like everyone's had a bad breakup. You just have to do like paperwork with, you know?
Yeah. And that's kind of how I felt about it, which is I always refer to it as like when we broke up, because we broke up in October of 2018, but like we didn't get our divorce finalized until June 2020.
Yeah.
So, because it took so long, and that was another thing. The post announcing I was getting a divorce there were so many opinions. So many people thought I got over it too quickly. So many people thought I didn't file soon enough. Like everyone just had like an opinion on me, and it really irritated me. And that's the one regret I had. It was like, I wish I didn't let everyone's opinion affect me so much.
That's really hard to control. Like, I mean, because you were also like pretty quiet about everything, because it was such a not a normal like, oh, we're just not getting along divorce. It was for like a more serious reason. There was a lot of like trying involved. There was and then there was a lot of like back and forth for like when you should file, when not, like all like all this kind of stuff. Like it was a very unique situation.
Yeah.
And I think that like you did the best with like with all of the information that you had at the time, and no one else, all of the other people making their judgments obviously like don't know the details like you know the details.
Yeah. Like I know a lot of people were super, like they were pressuring me to file, like as if I didn't file, I was going to get back with him or something. And I was
Right.
like, honey, if I file and I want to get back with him, you know I'm going to get back with him. That's just how
I'll just
roll.
marry him again.
I'll marry him again, shoot. But it was tough because like I love him. I loved him so much.
Yeah.
And we were like really good friends and we still respected each other. And he did like treat me very well. Like he really did teach me how to be loved, which I think is like the best gift he could have ever given me, because he treated me like from the start, like I was resisting at every turn, like, oh, like I don't want to be in a relationship. And he just like was so patient with me. And so I wanted to be patient with him, and I didn't want to just like leave him high and dry, because like it's still at the end of the day, like I felt like a sense of loyalty, and like
Yeah.
he was like my teammate at the time. So like I wasn't gonna just like give him this thing that was gonna just make his life even shittier when he was going through a very shitty time. And that's what people couldn't understand. And it's like also he was battling addiction, but like that's not who he was in his soul. Like he is still like a very kind person. It's just like it's not the life I wanted to live anymore. And that is a selfish choice of me, but like
But it's also
I gotta
the
do
choice
me.
you needed to make for yourself. It's not selfish of considering yourself and not, you know, like living your life around this thing forever, because it was going to be, you know, it's going to be talked about all the time. Like it's going to be something in your relationship that would always have to be considered.
Well, and at the time, it's like you don't know if this is is he going to pull through?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, is this always going to be a battle?
Yeah.
You know, which I mean, every day is a battle, but like, like, is he going to find like some consistent like peace with things, like, or is it always going to be this back and forth kind of thing?
Yeah.
And you don't know the future. Like you can't tell the future.
Yeah, but I knew the kind of future I wanted, and that was not a part of it.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to say that he is 3 years sober.
That's amazing.
And I'm very proud of him, because I know how hard it is. And he's like really good at being an addict. So for him to be 3 years sober is like amazing. And he's got a girlfriend and he's thriving. So we love that for him.
That makes
Very
me
happy for you, Mark.
Mark was my first brother, so
First and only to date.
first and only to date, you know.
You never know. You might get another one soon.
I hope I get it. You know, I have always kind of wanted a brother. So that was whenever I got one.
You're our brother.
I know. So whenever I got one for like a minute, I was like, cool.
Yeah.
So he'll always, be my first brother.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Thanks for letting me share. If you guys have any questions, or if you need somebody to talk to about addiction, or like if you know somebody who's struggling with addiction, you can always DM me. I know how hard it is. So
Yeah.
do you want to get into questions from the audience?
Questions
Well,
or
first-
listener stories or what?
There was a note that you had me write down that seemed like it was really important for you to mention.
Oh, the turtle? Okay, so the turtle...
We don't have to get into it. I know that's really hard for you to talk about.
Yeah. So my mother-in-law bought this turtle that is like a tin turtle that looks like it belonged outdoors.
It's like almost as big as both of these guitars.
Yeah, it was fucking huge. And it was in our kitchen, and it was so fucking ugly. And it was always like this point of contention with me
It's
and
not
them.
that it was ugly. It's just like what you
It
would
was hideous.
It's what you would expect at like your second, like your beach house. You know what I mean? It's
it would be like at a shitty Airbnb in Pensacola.
I was gonna say like your aunt's beach house.
Yeah.
That you like go see.
It was
go stay at.
awful, and it was in my house. And It
Yeah.
was like one of the first things you saw when you entered my home. And I was like, this is just not what I want to represent myself as to my guests.
You don't want to be a turtle, a tin turtle.
Yeah. So that was like, so when we were breaking up, she really made sure that they got that fucking turtle back.
Honey, you can have it.
And I was like, she thought I was going to like steal it. And I was like, honey, This ain't my turtle.
Honey, I will leave it wherever you want it. I will leave it. You want me to ship it to you? I will bubble wrap
Well,
it.
Mark had to come pick it up, and he had to take it and ship it to her because he was like, I have nowhere to put this turtle.
Oh my God, he really had to ship it to her?
Yes.
I was joking.
No, and not only did she already had a collection of turtles at her house, like literally.
That's her thing.
So that's like nice.
Yes, it was beautiful.
Well,
So
it's good
that's
that the turtle came home. That's what they always do.
But that was a question
always
from my
find their way
friends because my friends, like, that was a joke because the turtle made a lot of appearances on my social media.
Yeah.
So that was a question from my friends. But yeah, R.I.P. to the turtle.
Well,
Let's go to the next one.
Well, I also like because you were like, write down the turtle, and I had no like that word didn't resonate in my head, so I spelled it like turd, like poop.
Why
Turtle.
would you do that when you say turtle?
I had no.
You don't know what the word turtle is?
I mean, I do know. What
You
it
said
means.
turd?
you made up a word instead of writing the actual word turtle.
Just wasn't
Oh,
resonating.
this must be
Turtle?
what he calls poop. Turtles.
For all I knew, because she was like, "Oh yeah, write that down." I was like, "Why would I know what this means?"
Okay.
Anyways.
That's interesting.
All right. I'm gonna go with these.
Do the
quick
questions,
ones.
yeah.
Rapid
quick
fire.
ones.
Did you have a prenup?
No.
Would you get a prenup if you got married again?
Yes.
Great. Did you have a feeling on your wedding day that it wouldn't last?
No, but the thought was like, I wonder if I'll get divorced from this.
I wonder if most people say that and if they would admit it.
I was just
Yeah.
about to say that. Like, I wonder if everyone's like, huh.
It wasn't like
I wonder if this is going to end in divorce.
it wasn't like he's not the one. It was like, I wonder if I will get a divorce in my life. And turns out I did.
Yeah.
Things happen, divorce happens.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing about planning a wedding?
I really loved visiting Santa Barbara and like, cause Santa Barbara is just a magical place. It's like the best place ever.
What was something different that you did, or what was something that you did that was different from a traditional wedding?
We gave everyone welcome drinks so they could get drunk at the ceremony. And I think that is like set off the, like this, you're here to party.
Yeah,
okay?
it was a vibe setter.
Yeah.
I liked that.
We were drinking all day.
And we were drinking all day. I mean, I was like,
But
we
it
should all get
looked really
drunk.
cute because you had like the little margarita things.
Yeah.
Something else that I just want to say about your wedding that I do think was different than a lot of weddings was your bridesmaids all wore white.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it just made it because your vibe was like your colors were like white and like green.
Yeah.
And I think it just like made all of your pictures look so good, and your dress had like some. Anyways,
And
I'm just
mom,
saying, like,
I think
it was
the biggest thing was mom wore a white jumpsuit. And I
Mom
tried to
looked
have my
so good.
She looked amazing.
Yeah.
And I tried to have my mother-in-law wear white, and she was like, I can't wear white. It'll look so tacky because I'm the mother of the groom. And I was like, everyone's wearing white in the wedding party. Just fucking wear white.
No, it looked like all of your pictures were my favorite. Like we all looked so good, especially with you because
I was wearing a pink dress.
it was like pink, but you had so much detail that was like the 3D. Is that what you call it? Like texture,
right.
kind
Like
of whatever.
French lace or something.
That was like all like sticking out, and all of that was white. It just made that like, and you looked real good in
I
your
looked
dress.
really fucking good.
I like the idea of
I'll
your dress
be-
being 3D because you could make all the guests put the glasses
Yeah.
on and be like, well, it's just coming right at you.
I will admit that one of your wedding photos of me, you, and Bailey is in our guest room because
Yeah,
it's so good.
All my wedding photos are still in mom and dad's house, minus Mark.
It's just like, honestly, our
we all
use
looked
of
really good.
like it. The pictures were great. The colors, the vibes. Are we supposed to stop looking at good pictures?
no, and it was a great fucking day. We just have to cut Mark out of all the pictures.
yeah.
Do you have regrets, or did it help you better understand yourself?
I have no regrets. I think I am so much better of a person after going through this. Like I got humbled, and I think I'm the kind of person that needed to be humbled.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think that you learned a lot about yourself.
Oh yeah. And I think I'm way less judgmental about people. I think I learned that like you just don't know what everyone's going through, and also like, hey, like who am I to judge like how you deal with your relationship? Because I know a lot of my friends are like, can you believe they do this? I'm like, shit, I don't.
Well, and it's like I feel like before hearing the word like addict, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I know who that person must be. And
yeah.
it's like,
Must
oh,
be a loser. And
it's
Mark
like,
is not a loser.
not even a little
Not
bit.
even in the slightest.
Mark was like a very high functioning. That's why it was
well,
yeah.
he's-
But like that's why it was so hard for me to understand, because I was like, well, he has this amazing job.
Yeah, he's getting up every day, doing everything he needs to do. Like,
Yeah, something's just a little off.
yeah, I also think that like people talk about addiction differently. Like these days, like in the past like couple of years.
Yeah, it's
So
definitely
a lot
gotten
more understandable.
It's gotten better.
Yeah, before it's like looking back, it's like, oh wait, I know a person that's an alcoholic. Most of our like extended family members. Now I get it.
for real.
This you like kind of talked about this, but how long did it take for you to realize your marriage was ending, and how did those conversations go?
I felt personally that it was ending in the summer. I felt like there was a shift where I was just like, this is hard. Like something's wrong. And then it was October is when we cut the tie.
Same
Snip.
month you tied it on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was literally almost 2 years to the date. And it was a week after I turned 30.
Nice.
So
Don't
it
you
was
feel
just
like-
like 30, flirty, and thriving.
Don't you feel like you've lived so many lives from this? Like,
Yes.
it's so crazy that is like safely in your past, and you're
Yeah.
like, you are a phoenix. You've been reborn.
I mean, both of you have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're two completely different people. Like, I am so happy for him, but like, I could never see myself. Like, people are like, do you miss him? I'm like, no. He does not miss me either. Trust me. Like,
But I also
he
think
seems
that
so happy.
I think that you guys like really needed to be the people that you were at that time.
Yeah.
I don't think that he would be the person he is today. I don't think he would be 3 years today if he was with somebody different.
Oh, yeah.
I think that that's why you guys were so good, because I think that you guys like really did love each other enough and like understand like where you guys were at in your lives to know that like this is going to be better for us if we're not doing this anymore. So it wasn't
Yeah.
like a crazy codependent thing of like, I'm not going to be able to get through this without you. It was
Yeah.
like, all right,
Yeah.
this is the time.
Yeah. And I mean, we definitely, and that is right. And I know some people do not have that luxury where it's like, but there was a lot of like hiccups during the
Yeah.
divorce process where it was not always smooth sailing. But I would say I had it pretty easy with him. So thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Mark.
Marque.
All right. Well, this is email has a question for you.
Okay.
Hey, ladies, smiley face.
Hi. Smiley face back.
I love listening to your podcast.
Thank
I
you.
relate
Thank
a
you.
lot to your sibling fights as a middle child.
Oh, it's me.
Anyway, I know you're doing this next episode all about divorce and weddings. I have some questions for y'all. I'm getting married next summer here in Alaska, and I was wondering, what do I need to do?
Okay, wait. First of all, remember when you were talking so much shit about Alaska?
I'm not talking shit. I'm just telling you, like,
It doesn't feel like a state in the United States.
it's no. I'm saying like because it was that she had been to Hannah's grandma had been to 49
Everywhere.
states except
Yeah.
for Maine, whatever. And I'm like, when and why did she go to Alaska? Because
Yeah.
I feel like unless you are somehow your job takes you there. I know one person that his job did take him there. But it's like, and I also know one person whose family, they like to vacation there, right? But though I feel like those are outliers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think a normal vacation spot is like Alaska, unless I'm wrong.
My
Well,
best
you're
friend's
wrong.
husband was like, that was his dream.
People
place
really
to
like
go.
Alaska.
I think I would really like Alaska.
I would not like Alaska.
I think I would love it, but I also know that like you can correct me on this.
Uh-oh.
The population is like so small. That's why they have like kind of, isn't it like the high like crime like per capita, because it's like with the amount of crime that happens, but like the population's whatever.
Can we?
Anyways, I love Alaska.
Okay, let's go.
Can I come stay at your house?
Anyway,
Let me know.
What do we
most
need to
importantly-
do?
yeah, I'm getting married next summer here in Alaska, and I was wondering, what do I need to do?
Okay, you need
Plan her whole wedding.
You need flowers. You need a caterer. You need
A dress.
a dress. and you need someone that's going to marry you. And then you need music.
And that's it.
And that's really it. The caterer will take care of everything. They'll get all your rentals for you. They can take care of your alcohol. If you go through like a hotel, then
She's
they'll
19,
do.
she can't drink.
Oh, well then you don't even have to worry about that. Just honestly, just elope and spend your money on a photographer, have dope photos, and then do something when you turn 21, because life doesn't begin until you turn 21.
That is great advice, because I bet there's like so many beautiful places in Alaska, Peyton's favorite state, to take pictures.
Okay, first of all,
You don't have to like
and then
go into
have
the
another
thing.
party like when you guys can, if you want.
Okay.
Great. We already did that one.
okay.
This is a really long story.
We have time.
Do you?
Oh, Jade is somewhere to be.
Yeah, Jade.
15 minutes.
Whoa.
Uh-oh. Hi.
Hi.
First, I just want to say that I love your podcast, and I'm also one of 3 sisters.
Same.
She's the youngest. She's 27 years old, so same for me.
It is Bailey. Bailey wrote this.
This is my like fan fiction of my own life.
Okay.
You guys are hilarious to listen to, and I love your banter.
Thank
my
you.
sisters and I are not close, so it makes me happy to listen to sisters that are. It's funny that so many people tell us that they're not close to their sisters. I got married in 2019 to a guy in the Army. Ooh. We had been on and off since senior year of high school, because it was hard to let go of that high school sweetheart stuff. When we got back together in 2018, he suggested... Do you want to grab him?
No, just
He's
keep
like
going.
a ghost. He suggested that we get...
He's like a ghost.
He is. He's just haunting the halls. Wandering. Ooh. He's wandering on. Come here.
He is.
Get up here.
Oh my god, you're so annoying. Get up there, you little fungus.
Come here, Casper. Casper. He's so sweet. He's okay, buddy. All right.
He's like a ghost.
Oh my god, remember we were talking about how they would haunt you when they're
I know.
dead?
That's all I'm gonna hear whenever they die. Is just.
He's a sweet boy. He's so sweet. Anyway, she was dating someone in the Army, whatever. He suggested we get married at some point, and then the long distance would be easier.
Of course he did, because he's in the fucking Army.
Because then he would have off-base housing. So I guess that's what you get when you're married. I don't know.
Benefits.
I was still in New York, but he was in Texas. The long distance was supposed to only be for a brief period, because he was going to get out of the Army soon, and then he'd be back in New York. He ended up not wanting to leave the Army yet and extended for another year. I didn't see the point of moving to Texas for less than a year if we were just going to come right back to New York. So soon after, we secretly got married at a Texas courthouse. He started acting weird. He was acting distant.
Oh no. Nervous.
He was acting...
Him's nervous.
He was acting distant and wouldn't tell me much. I thought it was because of his depression. Reasonable conclusion, I would think. Fast forward 4 months, and I find a screenshot of a conversation in his phone with the girl's name. I wasn't even looking for anything sus. I was just looking at the pictures we had taken on his phone from an event we had just gotten back from that night. He says, "Aunt B, your elbows are sweaty. Aunt B, why are your arms so salty?"
Oh, hey, Aunt B, wait, this tastes good.
Stop. Get him off you.
No, just let him suckle.
I don't like the way he does
He's
it.
gonna latch.
He's literally like
so
suckling
loving.
on your
He's-
arm.
First of all, he's loving. Let it go.
He's
You're a
creepy.
good boy.
No, he's so sweet. He's just a little bit hot.
Okay, so what
embarrassed.
happened? I'm on the edge of my seat.
Okay. All right.
So she's looking at the pictures.
Yeah, because they just got back from an event that night. Well,
Give him to me.
he says, "Oh, it was weird licking her arm or lick her leg. It's okay." While he was sleeping in my bed, I took his phone to the bathroom so I could find the actual messages. They were still on his phone. Turns out he'd been cheating on me with his coworker for months. He told her that he had an open marriage with long distance. False. LOL. He swears they never slept together, but had made
Liar.
out and hung out at his apartment. Yeah. Oh, we made out, but swear.
Yeah, we made out. We would hang out at my apartment. So where we didn't
Yeah, okay.
have sex. Yeah, you did.
I slapped him hard out of his sleep.
Slap. I love that.
He played
That's
dumb
you.
and then acted like he was really sorry. He had a flight to catch the next day to go back to Texas, so I used that time apart to figure out what I should do. I ended up giving him a second chance. I felt dumb because I'd only been married for 5 months and didn't want to be one of those people that gets married then instantly divorced.
Still like,
Oh, I thought we were laughing because that's what you did.
oh. I mean, I was 2 years. She was 5 months.
Yeah, he's like getting a little higher up. It's okay. All right, we're not done.
Oh, okay. Speed it up.
2022. COVID hit and I took the opportunity to live with him for however long I wanted because I was working from home now. I had trust issues from him cheating on me previously, so I looked around his place for anything weird. I ended up finding long, dark, thick brown hair in his couch, bathroom,
Oh.
and stuck to his mattress cover. The hair was not from the girl that he had previously cheated on me with because I had been there after her and he didn't even have that couch. I literally put the hair on a piece of white paper in a bag and put it next to a strand of my hair so I
is
could show him
honestly,
that it
like,
was not my hair.
Pre-therapy page.
She is forensic filing
I know,
the shit out of this
CSI
guy.
Miami.
He said that, oh, he must have just dragged the hair in from outside from work. And the hair was like probably on the couch from the store that it came from. Obviously, you know?
Right.
All right. 2021. Act 3. He had been acting weird when he came home to visit and was trying not to spend quality time with me. I wasn't happy and asked him if he ever thought about getting divorced. And he said, no.
Yes.
I said, no,
No,
why would I
no,
get divorced? I get to
I'm
cheat on you
happy.
all the time and be married to you.
You stay in New York, but let's stay married. This is great.
This is working out great for me.
A few months later, this is actually like the good part of the story.
Okay.
A few months later, I woke up to see I had lab results back from my annual gynecological appointment.
Well, I'm a gynecologist.
Paige emailed her results. And she was shocked to see that she had freaking chlamydia.
Fucking chlamydia.
I sent him the screenshot and made him explain. He made excuses for himself, but then admitted that he'd been cheating on me for almost all of 2020
Great.
And our entire relationship.
with some girl from Tinder. He continued seeing her after I'd been there for months with her.
Can I just say that would never happen with some girl from Zate?
100%.
Yeah. Because Zate's not about who you do, it's about what you do.
Exactly.
Not just trying to get that chlamydia wet. All right.
Okay.
You didn't get that part.
Grow up.
Also, when he was home a few months ago, he knew that he had chlamydia because he went to urgent care to get checked and treated. He never told me any of this, and I lived with that in me for 3 months.
Oh my God.
I didn't have any symptoms, so I didn't know. His excuse for not telling me that he had chlamydia was because when he was in town, I got a yeast infection and I was treated for that. He was too dumb to know that those are two totally different things.
Oh my God. Fucking idiot.
Duh. Anyway, then there was a third or fourth or fifth girl that she saw on Venmo too, that was like paying him rent.
Did they get divorced?
Oh, they're still working on it.
Honey.
Get divorced. Do it.
They're still going through the divorce process, but
Okay.
he's with someone else. So,
Good.
We're wishing him well.
I just have to say that really blows, but you're so young. And the one thing that got me through it was just knowing, like, I had to say a mantra to myself every day. Like, it will be better. It will be better. And that's like, we talked about that, I think, in our breakup episode, but it's like, this is the low part. There's going to be a high part that's like
Yeah.
going to make it all better. You just have to tell
That's
yourself.
wild.
Yeah, but that does suck. I'm sorry.
I'm
That does suck.
really sorry.
27 is so young. I remember being like however old I was when I was in my breakup, and I was like, oh my God, can I get back on that horse? It's been 5 years.
How the
And,
fuck did you think I felt?
Well-
How did you guys think I felt? I was literally, the last time I was single, I was literally like 24, and I got divorced when I was 30 or
Yeah.
23 maybe.
I haven't even been married once, and I'm
Yeah,
30.
stop bragging about being married, Jade.
Oh
Jeez.
my
We haven't been
God.
married once.
Okay, so next week let's talk. This girl inspired me,
Yeah.
so I think next week we should talk about crazy shit. So we should talk about how you've caught somebody cheating, the ways you've gotten back at somebody for like cheating. Like that girl had the bag of hair and she was like, hey, this is what I did.
This is my proof.
Yeah. So we want to hear like the craziest things, maybe like any tips to know how somebody's cheating.
I know there's a lot of like Snapchat things that you can do. I think
Gears are turning over here. Pages are.
You know, they're turning, and I think our listeners will have some nice stories.
They love the cheating episode.
Well, because
There's
I mean,
some-
unfortunately, like everyone's been cheated on, so
Not me. Oh, that one time doesn't count.
Yeah.
so
There's
it
some
counts.
petty bitches listening to this podcast, and I am here for it.
I'm here for it.
Um,
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to write in to us at yourpoordad@gmail.com. Make sure to DM us on Instagram at yourpoordadpod. You can also follow us on TikTok at yourpoordadpod. Subscribe to the podcast. Rate us. Give us a 5-star or 4. You know, we'll take a 4.
No, we want a 5.
But give us some constructive criticism. Don't just be like, you guys are dumb bitches. Be like, hey, you should let Bailey talk. Like,
email us the constructive criticism.
Well,
Don't-
you
don't
can
put
give
that
it.
on the
You can
reviews.
give us the 5 and constructive criticism. We'll read it.
We'll read it all, honey.
I'll read it.
All right. Well, thank y'all for
Well,
coming.
thank you, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.